One, two, three. I am so in love with you.
Bitch, I know.
I love you. Again, how you eat this shit? We don't got no fork?
With your hands.
It is never happening for me. Diane got engaged. No, I'm not trying to shit. But why does she deserve to get married and I don't?
No, she's just really upset and I want to make her feel better.
What's wrong with her now?
She doesn't think she'll ever get married.
I'd be onto something.
Don't be a dick. Dating is hard.
Standards are way too high.
Yeah, maybe she should lower them like I did. I'm tired.
Stay as long as you need.
Thank you.
We just all gonna sit here and pretend new Molly is the same bitch that we've known for forever.
I wasn't gonna say anything. Kelly, why are you always coming for somebody? You make everything a joke. Like you're 30 and you fucking act like you're 19. Because you're always telling somebody what to do or reading everybody. And meanwhile, y'all codependent ass can't even take a shit without asking your man first.
Come on. I'm really sorry for hurting you. And I can't imagine my life without you.
No compromising.
I thought she was a rebound. Both of y'all had moved on. I just assumed.
Who is he seeing?
I think her name is Tasha.
Tasha. Found her.
Oh shit.
Hey girl, I just want to check on you.
Pull that bitch up.
Issa's still for her. He feels terrible, Lawrence. Issa cheated. But she's not a cheater. Oh, you know she still loves you. Would you ever take her back? I had to do like 5 fake walk-bys before he saw me.
Oh, thanks for going all the way over there for me.
Of course. You want me to stop by later? I'm here if you need me, okay?
Bye.
Put shelf 25 in 7C. I don't know.
Hey girl, you know what? You do this part and I will do this one.
Just looking out for my friend.
Well, you're a good friend. Not a great listener, but good friend.
We came together to watch the game.
What game?
Like, you know, sports. The Los Angeles Wheelers.
Oh, yeah, I have a hat.
Yeah.
Hi, can I have a double cheeseburger meal, please?
And get whatever you want, girl. It's on you.
In your face? Nah, nigga. You know what? We gonna go to that nigga's house and we are fucking him up on site.
I don't even want to see him. It's just not even...
Girl, you don't have to go. I'll go. I'm gonna put a dozen eggs in a water gun. We're gonna roll up to that nigga's house and just, I'm gonna spray his face with cum eggs.
Made me feel stupid.
No, girl, you're not stupid. Okay, he was being disrespectful.
I was gonna return this.
You need help out with anything for the mixer?
Hell yeah, I'm putting everybody to work. Condola got all these important ass people coming. This mixer is not about to match the level of people coming. And because of Condola, people are gonna expect elegance. And here I am inviting Target to my apartment. Why did I think I could do this?
Girl, first of all, don't act like you don't have shit to offer, okay? You've planned events before. You've raised money. Yes, this is on a bigger scale, but bitch, you way more now. You know important people do.
If you were a dress, I would keep you. Can you do that thing where you make white people laugh and they give me money?
I'm a little rusty, but I got you.
I don't fuck with Molly anymore.
Today, she's a little homegrown, but she's trying. We bringing five buddies out the house now. Girl, if you like it, I love it. It's weird that you're still working with Condola when she's dating Lawrence. You know your life don't have to be this messy, right? Sometimes I think you like that shit. I got a hell of work done with this block party. Sorry, work's been keeping me all out the loop.
What's the problem? Because I don't hear it.
He's just not opening up. And meanwhile, I'm telling him everything. I even told him how I had to wear a helmet to bed till I was 11.
Are you sure you're not looking for something? Don't pick up nothing that don't serve you, girl. You don't put that pussy on pause?
Yes, I am.
Okay, girl. Then you're in with us.
Perfect. I thought it was just gonna be the two of us.
Oh, well, she said she was hungry and I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah, but I really wanted to talk to you, and I don't know Condola like that.
Then how about we talk at our next self-care Sunday? Ooh, we could get ice cream after our hike.
That totally on the side. But yes.
It seems like you always finding a problem. Sometimes I'm like, do you want to be happy? Aren't you tired? I'm tired for you.
I don't know why you keep acting like everything's cool with that. Glad your little throuple is a success.
Bitch, you were just in a throuple with girl yesterday.
Well, at least I wasn't fucking for free weed and toiletries.
Whoa, okay. What the fuck is up? Because that was unnecessary.
You were coming for me.
And I feel like you've been coming for me. What's going on?
I don't know, girl, but the last couple of months, it just feels like we've been
off.
Don't forget to make an extra crispy crust for Issa.
Uh-oh. I'm going.
Okay. I thought you said you were going.
I mean, I was going.
When I am struggling, yo, He is there for me at any hour. That's how you build a long-lasting relationship.
Oh, damn, Jada. I see you out here red table talking.
Just saying how I thought it was good that Derek was there for her.
I know, I was joking. Tiff, where did these go?
You weren't here last week when we decided to go over there by the changing table.
Okay.
I just think that it's funny that she calls me old Molly when she's out there right now doing old shit too.
Girl, you know it's complicated.
Oh, when her shit goes out, she don't rope me in.
She's probably feeling the same way too.
Yeah, I just gotta go handle some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a second? I really want to talk to you.
Oh. Okay, yeah, me too. Girl, this week has been a lot. I just feel like I'm just juggling so much.
Damn, sorry, girl. Well, this will just take a second. So you think you can ask Andrew to hook me up?
Well, I mean, first of all, why did your headliner drop out?
Did y'all have a contract? Yeah, I had a contract. He broke it.
Okay, well, were you late on any of the payments?
No.
I guess I could ask.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I gotta go. And you know, when we won that Yuko case, that bitch did not come to my celebration dinner.
So you're gonna punish her by leaving her hanging. Let's not go.
Of course we have to go. I love her, but I don't really like her right now. Yeah, but you still got my man to do you a favor.
And it all worked out, right? You saw me at We Got Y'all, you saw me struggling, and you decided your new relationship was more important than doing me one little ass favor?
Nigga, you stay needing one little ass favor.
You keep starting shit. You keep making up problems. You keep focusing on shit that I need to fix when you need to fix your fucking self.
Nobody has more drama than you, Issa. Stop using people. You using Nathan, Andrew, me, who else? You still the same selfish bitch you always been.
Really, get your finger out of my fucking
What you
face.
gonna do? What she be too far? We should have been off for months.
Yeah, I know. That's why I reached out. But I can't be the only one who wants to make this work, Molly.
Be who you are now and who I am now just don't fit anymore.
I mean, there really isn't much more to say.
Yeah. I'm glad you came.
I'm glad you called.
Thank you so much for everything, Issa. Just for being you. For loving me while I was me.
Think she's still mad? My girlfriend!
For anything, my girlfriend.
Molly Carter, the best friend of Issa D on HBO's Insecure and the one true love story of the show. This relationship was tested throughout the entire 5 seasons and likely prior to when both ladies put stress on the bond, both ladies made mistakes, but also both ladies showed up and showed out for each other. Now, I know a lot of people hate Molly, and I know a lot of people who are severely unwell translate that hate as hate for Yvonne Orji, and I'm going to need y'all to get a clue. And if you find yourself to be one of those people, please click off this video. I don't want none of that around my channel. But for those of you who can keep it to the show and keep it cute, it's okay to hate Molly if that was your takeaway. It's also okay to hate Issa if that was your takeaway. These are characters. But please do not transfer that to the actresses. That is ridiculous. Now, bringing it back to the show, I fully understand why both ladies made some of the decisions they made. That doesn't mean I agree with them, but I do feel like both ladies bear the weight of the stress they put on their bond. But I also think the work they put in to build that bond back up was so worth it, worthwhile, and I was so happy to see that they came out on the other side. Today, we have to talk about Molly and Issa's friendship, so please feel free to share your opinions in the comment section below. Please keep it cute, but it is okay to disagree. These ladies put us through it as viewers, and today we're going to explore their friendship. So let's get started.
I think your pussy's broken. And if it could talk, it would make that sad Marge Simpson groan. Yes, that's it. That's your pussy.
You said, things should be easier for me as a successful Black woman. Things should have fallen into place by now.
Damn. I was out there like that?
I'm married, so open or not, it's just not how I see my life.
I thought you said those were yours. Yeah, they are. You ain't never gave us one. You gonna drink it in front of my face?
Is there a certain way you think your life should go, get out of the should and live in the could.
Molly Carter is such an interesting character. On the surface, she is a woman who has it all together. She comes from an amazingly close knit and successful family. She has two brothers. She's the only girl, and she is the apple of her father and her mother's eye. She also has special privileges reserved only for her. She is killing it at work. And even when we see Molly face challenges, we also see she has the backbone, the courage, and the confidence to challenge them back and face them head on. We never see Molly come to an issue that she can't overcome all by herself. And even still, she has the support of not only her amazing family, but also her very strong friendships. Molly has it all. But as her therapist points out, Molly can't see all of the incredible things she has in her life because she's focused on the one thing she doesn't have, and that is a romantic relationship. Now, Molly is used to having everything she wants. Molly is used to getting everything she sets out to get. And for all intents and purposes, she's not wrong. She should have everything she wants because she's competent, capable, and an amazing woman. But sometimes the things that we are due to get in life don't follow our timeline. And they also don't always look the way we think they should look. And they're not always packaged the way we think they should be packaged. We see Molly in season 1 refuse to date anyone outside of her race because she doesn't believe that's what her life should look like. We also see Molly reluctant to trying new things when it comes to the workplace because she doesn't think that's what should happen in the workplace. But over the course of 5 seasons, we see Molly challenge her pre-existing and limiting beliefs to open herself up to what life could look like if she allows the possibilities to flow in of what life could unfold to become if she doesn't restrict every category in her life to be extremely narrow based on her own limiting beliefs. We see Molly come into her own in so many ways, and a big part of that is her friendship with Issa.
I'm glad you called.
To say that Molly is right in the breakdown of her friendship with Issa isn't correct, but she wasn't all the way wrong either. The breakdown we observe in season 4 started in season 1, and likely well before that. Issa and Molly were friends since they attended Stanford, and their friendship had reached a decade at the point in which we meet them both. The ladies were at a transitional moment in their lives individually, and when the show began, they both leaned heavily on one another, as each other served as the other's primary source of stability within their communities. Molly had far more community than Issa. She had more support, and that played a significant role in how they both showed up for each other and themselves in seasons 1 through 3. Season 1, Issa is in a high needs place within her friendship with Molly. Her personal life was a mess. Her work life had reached a dead end, and after 5 years of living a monotonous existence, she woke up one day and didn't recognize the life she'd built. Brick by boring, mundane, mediocre brick. Her friendship with Molly was the primary source of stability and support, and she latched on like a life raft. Lawrence had been a bum for 2 out of the 5 years of their friendship, leaning on Issa financially, emotionally, and weighing down on her mentally. Issa's mother and father were divorced, and while we never get an update on her biological father, we learn that her mother has married a man with 2 kids that Issa and her brother don't really vibe with. Issa only goes home twice during the 5 seasons on the show, and while we see her speak to her mom a few times, they aren't that close. Her brother is her closest familial connection, but he has a life of his own, and they don't lean heavily on one another when they need support. We see a few moments where her brother shows up for her, but he maintains very strong boundaries. Now, seeing her friendship with Molly play out over the course of 5 seasons, Issa's brother's boundaries actually make a lot of sense. Molly is Issa's family, her friend, and her closest confidant. Issa confides in Molly more than anyone else on the show, even more than Lawrence, and they were dating for 5 years and lived together. Issa asks Molly for help before she asks anyone else, and even when other people show up for her, i.e. Daniel letting her live there, Molly is always waiting for the moment that Issa's situation bottoms out and she needs to lean on her. It's what she knows. Issa asks Molly for help first before anyone else. She mulls over every decision, every problem, every challenge, every idea with Molly first, who happily shows up for her every single time, without question. This can naturally weigh down on someone over time, and during their big fight in season 1, we hear how this heavy lifting in their friendship has actually stressed Molly out. For perspective, it's pretty understandable that Molly would feel frustrated by maintaining the role of the load-bearing support beam in the imbalanced structure of their relationship for so long. And Molly points out that Issa has been in this place for several years. She's been on the fence about work, she's been on the fence about Lawrence, and instead of making a firm decision and committing to it, she teeters on the edge of every option, rotating in a loop of indecisiveness and prolonging her suffering without actually taking action to face a true path forward and make real changes. All the while, she's staying in a permanent high-needs place that requires Molly's multifaceted support to maintain this state, and while never taking Molly's advice to end this suspended state of draining redundancy. It's Issa's problem, but Molly's stress.
Like your Sheen all fucked up? Like I wasn't just distracting your man right after school and your side nigga?
What? Why are you throwing that shit in my face?
You can't commit to anything. Did I say shit when you were complaining about your job for 5 fucking years? Like you can't change that shit? You've been on the fence whining about your relationship forever. But did I say a motherfucking thing about that?
Shut up, Molly. Like, the shit that you said wasn't even all my fault, and you act like shit is black and white.
You fucked another man when your man was fixing his shit for you. I just talked to Lawrence. I had to do like 5 fake walk-bys before he saw me.
Oh, thanks for going all the way over there for me.
Of course. You want me to stop by later? I'm here if you need me, okay? Well, can you fuck with my bookshop though?
Huh? Yeah. Hey, let's go somewhere tonight. Can you teach me how to hoe?
Bitch, that's rude.
And yes.
I'm just looking out for my friend.
Well, you're a good friend. Not a great listener, but good friend.
I can be both.
Daniel.
Where?
Look for him.
All right, so are you trying to talk to Daniel or are you trying to avoid it? Because I just want to know how sober I need to be.
No, girl, he ain't gonna turn down my turn up. Let me be the fucking adult in the situation and go deal with this drama. You got this?
Can I take your order?
Hi, can I have a double cheeseburger meal, please? And get whatever you want, girl. It's on you.
We gonna go to that nigga's house and we are fucking him up on site.
I don't even want to see him. It's just none of you.
Girl, you don't have to go. I'll go. I'm gonna put a dozen eggs in a water gun. We're gonna roll to that nigga's house and just I'm gonna spray his face with cum eggs. I ordered the couscous, the beef and vegetables, and the burnt lamb, because I know you like that shit extra crispy.
Bitch!
The mackerel, because we're on some classy shit. And too many bottles of this wine we can't pronounce. And a variety of desserts.
I am so in love with you.
Did y'all know?
Seriously, Malibu, I know I call you out for doing the fucking most, but this is like for real legit. You know, I feel like I'm in another country. Like, I might really help you do the dishes.
Stay as long as you need.
Thank you. Oh, can I borrow some clothes for work tomorrow?
When someone consistently siphons our time, our energy, our financial support, and our presence without actually taking our advice, considering our input, nor allowing us to participate in the actual change needed to move the situation forward, it becomes less about being supportive and eventually becomes exploitation of the person's generosity. Molly showed up for Issa in ways that no one else in her life could or were willing to. Yet Molly's opinion and input were rarely considered. If I can be trusted to pull you out of every problem you bring upon yourself, but I can't be trusted to offer you advice to prevent those problems, then you don't actually trust me. You're using me to fund an unending cycle of dysfunction that relies on my resources to exist.
What you doing?
I just killed a fucking presentation. What's up? I need a favor. You got me looking thirsty as fuck. I told you Andrew's canceled.
It was a bad date. That happens. It's nobody's fault.
It was his fault.
You ready? Andrew, hey!
Yeah, we were just at Porto's, and I said we should bring you some desserts as a peace offering.
I hope we didn't wake you guys up. Can I use your bathroom?
There's a bathroom just
Yeah, I see it. Thank you.
Porto's?
This moment in season 3 is a great example of pretty much everything I'm going to illustrate in this video about how Issa exploited Molly's kindness, generosity, and resources. When she first answers the phone, Issa asks Molly what she's doing. Molly says, "I just killed this presentation." pause. Before we even get to this moment, Molly has been sharing her workplace struggles for well over a year, from her MJNS firm to her new firm. And it was very important that Molly makes significant headway in this new opportunity because she was feeling pretty down and out by not connecting with her coworkers or getting on board right out the gate. We also saw her illustrate this to not only Issa, but to her therapist. So this was a huge moment. Issa didn't even acknowledge it. Rewind to season 1. Issa's going through all this stuff with Lawrence. She's staying over at Molly's house, overstaying her welcome, and Molly says, stay as long as you want, as I've shown in the previous examples. But even in that conversation, Molly remembers to ask her,
how's your presentation going? Girl, I got too much on my mind, okay?
Molly remembers these small things in Issa's life because they're not actually small things. They're huge. And Molly remembers. She even asks and supplies Issa the clothes to wear for her presentation the following day. Here in this moment, we've had a whole year of Molly working very hard to make significant headway at work. She nails this presentation that she did on the spot, by the way. Issa calls her and doesn't even blink at this moment. She never even returns to it. She never even asks about it. She immediately goes into, I need a favor. Now, fast forward to season 4 in their big kerfuffle at the block party. What does Molly say? Your ass stays needing a little favor. This is just one of many examples of the buildup to season 4. Even in this moment, she doesn't bother to ask Molly about her presentation because she doesn't give a damn, because Issa's needs come first to Issa, and Molly always follows through for her. But she doesn't even ask Molly about the presentation later when she regulates. Even now, before she even asks Molly, do you have anything else going on for the rest of your day? Do you need my help with anything? Congratulations. She immediately just says, I need a favor. And what does Molly do? Show up for her in the middle of a workday. I also noticed something small about this moment that I noticed in the other moments. When Issa tells Molly, I need to stay longer. I need clothes for my presentation. I need you to pay for my food. In this moment, I need a small favor. What does Molly do? She rolls her eyes, but she does it anyway. We're going to get to this moment of Molly refusing to speak up in the moment, but allowing that resentment to build, which is why they had the big explosion in season 4. But this moment is a great example. Also, in this moment as well, in the car, Molly is telling Issa, I'm not talking to Andrew anymore. He made me feel upset or uncomfortable or violated, what have you. What does Issa do? Dismisses her feelings. We're going to circle back to that. This is a pattern. When Molly opens up about feeling a certain way, if Issa doesn't agree, she dismisses it outright. She doesn't probe, she doesn't ask questions, and when she does ask questions, they're only to validate her already pre-existing opinion. She consistently invalidates Molly's feelings. In this moment, Molly shares with her, you're making me feel thirsty by making up with Andrew when I don't want to. She just says, you ready? And Molly shows up for her. When they get to the door, and I don't even think Issa bought those desserts, let's just be real. But when they get to the door, it's Andrew at the door. Molly is clearly uncomfortable. Issa doesn't even lead the way. She hits Molly on the shoulder and is like, go. So not only does she drag Molly over here to do something Molly doesn't want to do in the middle of a workday when Molly just had a huge win, and now she's making her confront someone that she doesn't want to see right now over a personal matter, but she makes her lead the way. When Issa finds a way to get into the house, Molly recovers the moment when Andrew's about to stop Issa, and she goes, hey, let's have some desserts. Then Molly is tasked with keeping the conversation throughout this whole moment so Issa can snoop around Nathan's room. Issa puts the heavy on Molly a time or two in this one moment alone. But because Issa has a need, she expects Molly to bend to her will. We'll see this continuously show up in the lead up to the explosion in season 4. Even when she was at her wit's end, Molly still showed up for Issa. An example of this, when Molly was deeply hurt when Issa made a song about her embarrassing broken poontang pie, is how I'll put it. But when Issa needed Molly's help to remove the YouTube video, Molly still showed up for her the best she could. And she even used potentially billable hours at work to do so, costing her more money. Molly didn't agree with Issa messing around with Daniel. She consistently warned Issa about playing with fire the more she saw Daniel coming around, knowing that things weren't great with Lawrence. But Molly chose not to judge Issa and even supported her when she confessed to actually sleeping with Daniel. She even went to bat for Issa when Lawrence left, despite agreeing with Lawrence. She advocated for Issa, offered to spend the night with her, and even helped her host a wind-down party when she was depressed about the fallout of her relationship. Another example, season 1 at the fundraiser when Molly was pissed at Issa for rightfully implying that she needed therapy. Molly didn't allow being offended to stop her from intervening when she felt Daniel was there to cause harm. She charged straight into the lion's den, ready for war for her friend, while still ready to war with her friend about the therapy comment. She put her personal issues on the back burner to help Issa no matter what. In season 2, when they saw Daniel at Kiss and Grind, the first thing Molly asks is, "What you need me to do?" Later, when Molly saw Issa and Daniel cozying up to one another again, she had her feelings, but she still reserved her judgment. Another example, when Molly just wanted a night in to build her bookcase. Issa was sad about Lawrence, so Molly put her feelings aside, yet again, to take Issa on a night out. Now, this one has to be the best example of Molly showing up for Issa when she didn't feel like it, but she did it anyway, because there is nothing like having a hellish day at work, having things to do after work, especially in your work clothes and your work heels. And we saw Molly pull that big ass bookcase by herself down the stairs and into her trunk, having nothing else to do that night and just planning on staying in, relaxing after such a long day, and someone saying, "Do you mind going out with me?" There is something that really puts a hot rod up my spine when someone asks me to go somewhere when I'm already in, head wrapped, pajamas on, TV going, mood lighting. I'm just wanting to chill. Molly put all of that and the potential relaxation that she had ahead of her aside to be there for Issa. Another example, at Tiffany's gallery opening, Kelly dropped the bomb about Lawrence messing around with someone named Tasha, and Molly bullied the info out of Tiffany, found Tasha in 2 seconds on social media, and when Issa said she didn't want to indulge in drama, Molly had her back. But when Issa changed her mind and decided to deviate from going high to going low, Molly was down to ride. Season 1, when they were in the midst of their fight, Molly still drove Issa from Malibu back to LA in the middle of the night to see Lawrence and sat with her on that dirty ass curbside couch that she and Lawrence had discarded as Issa cried into an open container. Molly showed up for Issa, offered unending resources, and never wavered in her commitment to their friendship despite her personal feelings. And she often felt this commitment was unreciprocated fairly. We see many instances of Issa dismissing Molly's feelings when she chooses to open up, failing to hold space for Molly when she experiences her own challenges, and judging her harshly when Molly makes mistakes. We also see Issa laugh at Molly's expense with the other ladies in Malibu in a non-joking fashion. Now, there are times when they both laugh with the girls about the other one, but this one was clearly a sensitive topic, and Issa still laughed loudly at Molly with the other ladies. But when Issa saw that it bothered Molly, she quickly came to her defense. When Molly calls Issa a user in season 4, it actually tracks. Up until that point, Issa has been taking Molly's kindness and generosity for granted, even if it's not intentional. So when Issa finally commits to the block party and truly goes after a goal, Molly struggles to trust Issa's ability to follow through because until that point, she never has. Issa's been flaky, and Molly sees the sides of Issa that she rarely shows to anyone else. While I don't agree with Molly's choice to not ask Andrew to help Issa with a headliner, I do understand her reluctance to get involved because Issa hasn't shown herself to be very reliable. Even with the block party, Issa quit several times in that process alone. Molly is a serious businesswoman with a boyfriend who's a serious businessman, and they both have a lot of connections and relationships that matter. It makes sense that Molly would be concerned about going out on a limb for someone who hasn't committed to anything since they've known one another. This isn't just as adults. Issa's lack of ability to commit to things began in college. She and Molly were both law students, and they both planned to open a firm together. Issa changed her mind and never really focused on her career. She just took the first job out of college and stuck with it long term. Now, there is nothing wrong with pivots. There is nothing wrong with changing your mind. There is nothing wrong with changing your career path at any age. However, never truly committing to any one thing, idea, or goal could look flaky to someone like Molly, who knew what she wanted from the beginning, and she managed to keep that vision and the goals associated with it throughout her lifetime and achieve every single one. She might look at someone like Issa, who hasn't really committed to anything, consistently changes her mind, and never really commits to do the work, as someone who isn't reliable enough to go out on a limb for, especially where her career is concerned. I actually get it. She also didn't take her work very seriously. She would haphazardly wing her presentations, come up with fractured and unresearched ideas on the spot, and she made piss-poor judgment calls professionally. Molly, an upwardly mobile attorney at a prestigious law firm, would likely use caution when she was asked to blur the lines between professional and personal with her friend. especially with a friend who operates with such little discretion professionally. Molly also struggled with communicating her feelings to Issa. She rarely shared how she felt for fear of offending Issa or even kicking her while she was down. I get that. We often see Molly's frustration when Issa takes advantage of her, yet we rarely see her address it until she gets fed up. Then she explodes and it catches Issa by surprise, or she makes passive-aggressive statements that feel like bullying. Until that point, Issa fails to read the room, something that's Issa's problem. But also, Molly doesn't share her feelings, which is Molly's problem. So it comes off like a blind side. It's the perfect recipe for a disintegrating relationship. Issa was extremely inconsiderate. But being that she was in such dire straits in her personal and professional life for many years, it's understandable that her reliance on her relationship with Molly would take priority until she had a chance to course correct. Her problem is that she would rarely take the steps necessary to course correct, and it would leave Molly carrying the weight of her failure to launch. While Molly's treatment of Issa in season 4 was an overreaction, her feelings and experiences with Issa that supported this overreaction were actually warranted. But instead of letting the tension build, she should have simply spoken to Issa openly and provided clarity from her perspective, which would allow Issa an opportunity to address the issues head on before they spun out of control and before she blindsided Issa at moments where Issa really needed her support, like at the block party.
Honestly, I don't fuck with Molly anymore.
Just to let you know, today, maybe a little homegrown, but she's fine.
So I could have saved this outfit.
Relax, Urban Outfitters. It's weird that you're still working with Condola when she's dating Lawrence. It's just that, you know your life don't have to be this messy, right? Sometimes I think you like that shit.
Sits you down, makes you laugh, and he don't work at the airport? What's the problem? Because I don't hear it.
He's just not opening up. I mean, I'm telling him everything.
It's just you talking the whole time?
Basically, I think I might have to slow it down.
You gonna put that pussy on pause?
Yes, I am.
Okay, girl, you got monkey. Girl, why don't you just stay here and eat with us? Have you had the salmon drop top? It makes me want to drop my top, but I won't.
I don't want to impose on your plan.
No way. We just gonna be talking the same old shit. Just add your shit to our shit.
You sure? Perfect. I thought it was just gonna be the two of us.
Oh, well, she said she was hungry and I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah, but I really wanted to talk to you, and I don't know Condola like that.
Well, this is the perfect opportunity to get to know her.
Plus, you niggas got money, so they...
You found somebody? That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. You should take me out to celebrate. And Andrew can come too, but he gotta pay.
I tried to get him to open up, but that went all the way left. He just walked out. So I don't know.
Damn, girl. It seems like you always finding a problem. Sometimes I'm like, do you want to be happy? Aren't you tired? I'm tired for you.
Should I invite Andrew? I mean, we are exclusive now.
I don't know, girl. I mean, y'all only been talking, what, like 2-3 months? You gonna pull an old Molly and scare his ass away.
I'm glad your little throuple is a success.
Bitch, you were just in a throuple we drove yesterday.
Well, at least I wasn't fucking for free weed and toiletries.
Whoa, okay. What the fuck is that?
And don't forget to make an extra crispy crust for Issa.
Uh-oh.
Don't play about my team.
You ain't gotta do something just because they say you're supposed to.
Feel like a fish at the lotto. Ooh.
I'ma just suck around the block one more time. Michelle ain't become yet.
Bitch, I'm lit, so I iced up my wrist.
When I am struggling, yo, he is there for me at any hour.
Oh, damn, Jada. I see you out here red table talking.
I was just saying how I thought it was good that Derek was there for her.
I know, I was joking. Tiff, where did these go?
You weren't here last week when we decided those go over there by the changing table.
Okay.
I just think that it's funny that she calls me old Molly, but she's out there right now doing old shit too. But when her shit goes south, she gonna rope me in. She's gonna learn that she's not the one that has things going on in her life. Where's Issa? Not here.
Yeah, I just gotta go handle some shit. One second, I really wanna talk to you.
Oh. Girl, this week has been a lot. I just feel like I'm just juggling so much.
Damn, sorry, girl. Well, this will just take a second. Do you think you can ask Andrew to hook me up?
I guess I could ask.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
And ask him, and I don't think I'm going to. It means that this relationship is really important to me, and I want to protect that. And you know, when we won that Nuco case, that bitch did not come to my celebration dinner. I pre-ordered a seafood tower for 4. That is a lot of mercury for 3 people.
Connected in with Issa. Nathan was the one who asked me to. All I did was send an email.
Nathan? But you know we're not cool right now.
Yeah, but I didn't think that you'd be mad that I helped your best friend.
Nathan reached out about the block party and I needed help.
Yeah, but you still got my man to do you a favor. You deliberately went behind my back. I mean, I was very clear about how I felt, but I guess what? That didn't mean anything to you?
Because, Molly, you were willing to let me fail? Over what? Some random rule you made up?
It wasn't random. I was setting boundaries.
You decided your new relationship was more important than doing me one little ass favor?
Nigga, you stay needing one little ass favor.
Why are you doing this in my event right now? You keep starting shit. You keep making up problems. You keep focusing on shit that I need to fix when you need to fix your fucking self.
Bitch, do you hear yourself? Okay, you need to figure out your shit and stop using people. You used Nathan, Andrew, me, who else? I dropped your line ass a long time ago. You still the same selfish bitch you always been.
Molly, get your finger out of my fucking face.
What's she reaching for? She got a gun!
Here's where I would like for all of us to at least try to meet in the middle. No matter how you feel about the argument itself, whether you feel Molly was right in how she felt or you feel Issa was right in how she felt, whether you agree with Molly's point of view or whether you agree with Issa's point of view, I firmly feel like we should all be able to meet in the middle and say, no matter whose point of view you agree with, Molly's actions were wrong. Molly's choice to confront Issa at her event was wrong. No matter how civil she planned to communicate, no matter how diplomatically she planned to communicate, no matter whether her point of view was right or wrong, objectively right or wrong, or personally right or wrong, her choice to confront Issa right then and there was wrong. On top of that, her choice to present herself in a threatening manner to Issa was wrong. Molly could have had every point in the world. Molly could have been right, clear as day, and Issa could have been wrong, clear as day. But Molly's choice to confront Issa in a threatening manner was wrong. No point in the world is that important to threaten your friend who is not a threat to you. That was wrong. Whatever point of view Molly had, whatever upper hand Molly had, whatever issue Molly had that she wanted to raise was made null and void the moment she crossed those lines to me. Now, as far as Molly's choice to not help Issa, and as far as Molly's choice to communicate to Issa that she didn't want her asking Andrew for help, that was Molly's choice to make. Now, me personally, taking me observing them out of it, me personally, if my best friend asks for my boyfriend's resources to do something very important to them, I am going to follow through to the best of my ability. I'm going to help her. I'm going to ask my boyfriend to help her. If there is a justifiable reason why I cannot help her or why my boyfriend cannot help her, I'm going to communicate those reasons to her clearly, plainly, and with clarity. My motto is clarity is kindness. We get nowhere by hemming and hawing. We can be kind and we should be clear. The fault and blame leading up to their epic fallout in season 4 is shared equally by both Issa and Molly. But this confrontation, this potentially volatile confrontation at the block party is solely Molly's fault. This altercation is solely Molly's fault. Here's why. I've mentioned before that as an attorney, I'm often surprised that Molly struggles to communicate with Issa, but that's also unfair of me because how we show up in work and the skills we use for work aren't always transferable in our personal life. At work, we know that anyone we communicate with showed up ready to do the job and get the job done. So when we communicate, as long as we maintain professional boundaries and standards, we're free to communicate, and that's all we have to consider. But at home, we know these people, we love these people, and we know what they can personally handle. So when we choose to communicate or not to communicate, there is a lot riding on that. And sometimes how we would approach a situation at work where these people are there and they have to be there and we have to work together, we cannot always apply that same logic to our personal life because we have to consider their feelings. And the standards are sometimes a little bit more ambiguous and the boundaries are more ambiguous at home and in our personal life. However, I would still expect Molly to be a little bit better with communicating her experience with Issa before she explodes. We often see Molly hold her tongue, roll her eyes, sigh in silence when Issa takes advantage of her. But then when she's at her wit's end, she chooses to explode, which comes off like a surprise and a blindside to Issa. She's right to be shocked because up until this point, you haven't told me this was bothering you. We get so much further when we simply tell people what we expect and we communicate our feelings to people and we receive their response to that and we work together to compromise in a real way than when we make assumptions about people and we project our own private thoughts and feelings and expectations onto people without actually communicating the standards we've set. How can I meet a standard I don't know exists? How can I stop doing something that bothers you if I don't know it bothers you? How can I read between the lines when all you present is innuendo and ambiguous language and you never directly say what you think or feel? I can't build a profile of what you do and don't like if you never tell me. And when you do tell me, you place your message on the side of a missile and expect it to land. Well, that's not what missiles do. They don't land safely. They aren't received gently. They crash and burn, and they take everything in the vicinity right along with them. And sometimes that could be our friendship. If you want your message to land, you have to give it a soft place to land. You have to set upon this with the intent to reach an understanding, not to purge. That can be really hard to do when someone is silent about their pain because by the time they feel the impetus to communicate, they don't have it in them to softly land the message. Because up until this point, we see her show up for Issa, but we also see subtle signs of reluctance every time she does. It's kind of like she's tallying every time she does something for Issa or every time something Issa does bothers her, she adds it to a long list of, here we go again. But Issa is just existing, not knowing she's adding to this list, not knowing she's working on Molly's nerves. Now, there is an argument that I firmly stand by, that Issa should be a lot more perceptive than she is. Now, am I asking people to read minds? No. But when someone is rolling their eyes, deeply sighing, shifting in their seat, their body language becomes defensive or protective, that is something that maybe we should clue into. We should be in tune to the people in our personal lives, at least a little bit, so that when they are non-verbally communicating something to us, maybe we're aware of it. We might not know what everything means, but we should be considerate enough to simply say, are you okay? Does this work for you? Now, again, she's in a high needs place in her life, and we have to give grace to our loved ones when they need us in these moments. But once that becomes the norm, once the norm becomes 80-20 or 90-10 or 95-5, and that is prolonged, we have to course correct, and that takes communication and intention. But if it stays in that space for so long that that now becomes the norm and neither person speaks on it, at some point, the bottom will fall out. And I think that's what we were witnessing with Issa and Molly. Molly had moments where she relied on Issa and Issa showed up for her. Issa had a lot of moments where she relied on Molly and Molly showed up for her. But what we rarely saw either of them do was proactively communicate and set a path forward through compromise. We often saw Issa not reading the room, being inconsiderate, and not tuning in to the needs of Molly unless they were overtly spoken to her. And we also saw Molly not openly communicating her needs to Issa proactively, giving Issa enough time to adjust, make the changes necessary, and course correct before it became too much and ended in an explosion with Molly. We saw Molly fail to share with Issa the reasons behind her boundary around Andrew. To Issa, it didn't make sense. And when the boundary was asserted, it still didn't make sense. Now, does a boundary have to make sense to me for me to respect it? No. But as we've seen, Issa can be extremely inconsiderate. And sometimes she oversteps, she overstays her welcome, and she overexploits other people's kindness, generosity, and willingness to help her, i.e., Molly. So instead of respecting the boundary, she saw it as malleable. She saw it as a potential workaround. She saw it as, okay, I'm going to take exactly what you say at exactly face value, and I'm not going to ask you for help. I'm going to ask Andrew for help through another means. When what Molly said was, I don't feel comfortable asking Andrew to help you because I want to protect my relationship. I would have heard that and said, okay, Andrew's off limits. But also, at the same time, if I were Molly, I would have said, here are the reasons why I don't think Andrew should be the one to help you. That would have cleared up any misconceptions. It would have decentered me, and it would have centered the real reasons why I didn't want Andrew to connect with Issa professionally. It's my boundary, but with clarity. So instead of Issa walking away feeling like, oh, Molly doesn't want to be involved, she would have walked away knowing Molly and Andrew are off limits. I have to reiterate, I don't agree with Molly's choice not to help Issa. However, that should have still been respected because it's not our choice to understand. It was a boundary asserted by Molly, and everyone involved should have respected that. What I don't understand is why Molly didn't then tell Andrew about this whole situation and share her feelings with him. Now, again, she didn't want to bring it up to him at all. And I'm sure she felt telling my friend that this is a boundary will only render respect of said boundary and this won't come up again, so I don't have to cover myself on the other side. I would assume the same thing. If I tell someone, please don't ask my boyfriend for help, and they ask him, but in a roundabout way, that would feel like a violation. Whether the choice makes sense to anyone else or not, if I ask you not to get help from my boyfriend, then you should not get help from my boyfriend, whether you agree or whether it makes sense or not. I also don't understand why Andrew never mentioned that to Molly. That's the one hole in this situation that I don't feel like I got an understanding for or got an explanation for. Now, we watched Molly express to Andrew that she didn't even want to go. She gave him all these ridiculous reasons. He challenged her on some of those reasons, but he also affirmed that he would support her no matter what she chose to do. At no point did he say, well, I actually have a headliner that's going to be performing tonight, so I would like to be there so that I can touch base with him or his people, being that they did this as a favor to me. He never mentioned having any involvement with the block party. And I feel like well before the block party, when he first sent that email, I just genuinely feel like he should have said, hey, I'm going to get to help your friend with her block party. I was able to get her headliner. To me, that would have just been a natural conversation. Molly did say Andrew don't talk much, and he doesn't open up much. So maybe that's part of that. Those are two poor communicators trying to make a way. But we did see Molly get much better at communicating in season 4, at least with Andrew. And we saw her nail it in season 5. She did so much better in season 5. Both her and Issa really got over the hump and got over to the other side in season 5. And that was great. But in season 4, we're still in the thick of it. She did mention Andrew's not a great communicator. So maybe that is the issue. Because to me, if my boyfriend's friend is throwing this huge citywide event and I've been hearing about it from the inside, and then now there's a crossover with my career and I get to contribute, I'm going to take that back to my partner and say, hey, for what it's worth, I'm going to contribute something to the block party. Isn't this exciting? It's a family affair. I would have mentioned it just for that alone. And hell, if I were Andrew, I would have mentioned that to get some kudos from my girl. I would have been like, hey, I'm helping your friend out. Pat me on the head, pat me on the back, and pat me wherever else you want to pat me. Like, I would have definitely put that out there so she would know, like, hey, I'm integrating into your life and look at what I contributed. Like, that's something that would have come up, in my opinion, before now. Also, when Molly was saying she didn't want to go to the block party, that was also the prime moment for Andrew to say, well, hey, we don't have to go, but I do need to touch base with the headliner since the reason he's performing is because of me. How that never came up, I don't understand. But the fact that it never came up made Molly never share her feelings with Andrew. So he had no idea he was violating her, and she had no idea he was going behind her back because neither of them communicated with the other. I understand that his intention was never to hurt her, and he made that very clear. He was very upset that he was involved in hurting her. He made that clear. He also made it clear that he didn't understand the issue. When he mentioned, I didn't think it would be a problem to help your best friend, she didn't respond to that. And I think the reason she didn't respond to that is because she knew he was right. She knew Issa was right. She knew all of them were right. I have no real reason to be upset, and I had no real reason to block them from working together. But my choice is my choice, and it should have been respected, and two things can be true at once. She should have communicated on both sides. Whether I agree with her or not, and I don't agree with her choice to not help Issa, I also think Issa was wild as hell for getting help from her best friend's boyfriend, knowing her best friend would not want that. So this was just the perfect cocktail for a disaster. Mostly stirred by Molly, but heavily contributed to by Issa. I also just think it's wild as hell that I would help my partner's friend and it never come up. I also think it's wild as hell that my best friend told me my partner's off limits and I went about it in a roundabout way. Even if I were desperate, even if I need to get up there and play a banjo, hell, even if I needed to call Remick to come perform at the Juke, whatever I had to do to get a headliner, I would have used those resources. Or I would have at least made a plea like, hey, Nathan offered to ask Andrew, does that also fall within your boundary? I just want to be respectful, whether I agreed or not. I felt like there was a sense of entitlement when Issa said, you were willing to let me fail over a made up rule. I thought that was odd because one, all rules are made up, but two, your failing or success is not dependent upon Molly. She can contribute to it. She is not responsible for your failure or your success. And I think therein lies the issue with Issa and Molly at its root. Molly assumes a certain responsibility for Issa, and Issa indulges in that. She allows herself to lean on Molly in ways that I feel is more appropriate for a parent or for a partner. Again, best friends blur all those lines. However, there is a line, especially when there's an imbalance. And I felt like that statement said a lot to me when Issa said, "You are willing to let me fail? Ma'am, you took on this project. My involvement should not be a key factor in your success when I did not consent to that. This is not a partnership. So if I don't want any involvement, that should be just that." We rarely see Molly lean on Issa in such a heavy manner. Molly talked about struggles at work. She never asked for Issa's help. She just simply asked for her support. That comes back to those boundaries she was trying to create. I agree with her that she needed boundaries with Issa. I also think alongside those boundaries, she should have curated a lot more skill when it came to communication so that Issa understood where she was coming from. Because it's one thing to have a boundary, it's another thing to be able to communicate that boundary so that we can proactively set a positive path forward. Now, the last point I want to make about Issa and Molly is I've never sensed or suspected that there was any jealousy or envy between them. They do a great job of supporting one another where they are, no matter what each of them is going through or experiencing. It doesn't mean they don't have tension and challenges, but jealousy and envy and competition has never really been part of it from what I perceive. Now, the great thing about great writing and excellent storytelling is we will be able to look at these nuanced situations and pull so many different things from them. And a lot of times we'll agree, a lot of times we won't agree, but it's conversation fodder, and that's okay because that's what great storytelling does. It makes you pull from your own experiences, your own norms, your own common experiences, and apply them to what you're seeing, and all of us will come away with unique takeaways. So I'm not judging anyone who had that perspective because I have seen that argument online. I just never observed that from what I saw on screen or what I heard in their dialogue. I could be wrong. I never sensed jealousy. What I do think is sometimes when we have become used to someone being in a certain box or living in a certain phase of life, it can be very challenging to experience them as they evolve out of that. Not because we want them to stay down or we want them to stay in survival or we want them to stay in transition. It's just a lot of our conversation dynamics, a lot of our communication dynamics, a lot of our interactions are based heavily on where they are in life. And where they are in life has a huge impact on how they behave, what their interests are, what we talk about, what we do in our free time, how we have fun together. So when someone is evolving out of survival mode, as we saw Issa starting to do, and when someone is coming out of a low place and evolving into a more fulfilled, self-assured place, and they become more confident and they start to see their own competence and they start to value their own self-worth, their norms change. That impacts everyone, for good and for bad. Whether we're rooting for them or not, it changes things. What I think I observed with Molly is not jealousy that Issa was coming out of survival state. I think it was fear. One, very rarely did Issa partake in anything that Molly wasn't helping her with. So there's also that, I don't want to say limited trust, but there's also that I know Issa to not be the type of woman to follow through with things. I know Issa to be the type of woman to get in over her head. I know Issa to be the type of woman that changes her mind and not commit. And this is a big task with a lot of people depending on her and a lot of moving parts. And being that she has barely been able to get through her workday without calling and asking me for help, or get through her relationship without calling and asking me for help, seeing her take on this big task and not needing me, I worry for her. Seeing her come into a self-assured place, seeing her come into a place where she doesn't need a man to validate her, and now she doesn't even need me to validate her, and she's not leaning on me. She's not taking my advice or asking my advice. She's also making new friends that are outside of our circle. So I don't even know what type of influence she's under. I don't even know what type of connection they have. How can I protect you if I don't know this person? How can I protect you if you're welcoming in this person who has this very weird connection to your ex? How can I protect you if you consistently make odd decisions, or as Molly said, messy decisions? How can I protect you if you are consistently creating cycles of dysfunction that now I'm not even part of to keep you safe in? I think it was a combination of a bunch of that. Molly saw Issa changing her lifestyle in a number of ways. And a lot of those changes happened all at once. New apartment, new job, new friend, new big project. And she was juggling it all and rarely asking Molly for any help. Not only was she deviating in these different areas in her life, but she was deviating in the way that she and Molly communicated. Their dynamic changed. And as Issa evolved and she began to see herself as worthy, and she began to have more confidence, and she began to follow through with things, and she became more self-assured and headstrong and goal-oriented, she and Molly went from an 80-20 to more of a 50-50. And Molly is used to carrying the heavy in their relationship. Molly is used to that. And whether or not she liked it, that's just what she knew. So even when all these other things changed, her dynamic with Issa, her best friend, also changed. That's a lot for someone. And being that we have now discussed that Molly is not the best communicator, that was probably a lot for her to tackle. And so I don't feel like she was jealous seeing Issa come out of her survival state. I just don't think she was used to seeing Issa so self-assured and headstrong and taking care of business the way she was. And I feel like anytime there looked like there might be a glimpse of the old Issa, she was ready to jump into action. She was ready to believe like, oh, she's here now. Finally, I knew this would happen. For example, when Issa's headliner dropped out, all of Molly's questions that she asked, while valid questions, seemed to lean into the belief that somehow it was Issa's fault because she failed to show up in some way. Did you forget to pay? Well, they didn't drop out for no reason. Did you forget the contract? Did you make sure you had this? And those questions are valid, but the tone and the way she was asking were more accusatory. And you can see that Issa was taking it that way because she seemed to be getting a little offended. Like, I know how to handle myself. But I think Molly was just trying to help. But I also think Molly was leaning heavily into, I know who you were. So I'm having a hard time knowing who you are now or accepting who you are now. As they began breaking down their relationship through these meltdowns and these arguments and this time apart, I do feel like it gave them enough space to acknowledge, okay, I'm not dealing with Issa today and I'm not dealing with Molly today. In my mind, I'm dealing with old Molly. In my mind, I'm dealing with old Issa. And that space and that time apart enabled them to come back to the table and build from a place of present day. Because even with Issa, she kept addressing Molly as old Molly. Anytime she talked to her about Andrew, because Issa was so used to Molly messing up her relationships and her romances with doing too much, she always assumed that it was Molly's fault when there was a problem with Andrew. She even at one point said, do you want to be happy? Because I want you to be happy, but it seems like you don't want to be happy. Then when Molly mentioned, should I invite Andrew to Thanksgiving? Issa said, well, I don't think so. That's too soon, and you're just going to end up doing too much like you always do. Well, I don't know anyone who likes being put in the you always and you never boxes. None of us like to be just written off and dismissed that way. And that's a habit we saw of Issa. When Molly opened up about emotions or feelings, Issa shut her down every time. She was very dismissive. So in this case, every time Molly brings up her relationship with Andrew, Issa shuts her down. Issa dismisses her. Issa blames her. Eventually, Molly stopped sharing about her boyfriend. And I feel like most long-term relationships, friendships should go through that phase where as we're transitioning into a new state of being, as we're evolving, sometimes sharing hurts that evolution. Sometimes we need a pause on how much we share with each other or how much we ask of each other as we transition into this new state of being, as we let our bond strengthen over time. Because sometimes when we realize like somebody is always giving other people the benefit of the doubt and they're always kind of slagging off on me, they're always dismissing me, they always project these assumptions onto me, it gives you a clear view of one, how they see you. It gives you a clear view of maybe they don't have such a high opinion of me based on some things I've done in the past, but they're having a hard time seeing me now. Maybe it's a good idea to allow them to see you and don't tell them who you are, but show them. There are moments where we have to show people and we don't tell them. And we let them get up to speed if it's on the timeline that makes sense and it's feasible. And so I think that's what was happening here. They were having a hard time dealing with each other in the now because they were really stuck dealing with the past versions of one another. Having that meltdown, although toxic, I do think it benefited them because it gave them time to reflect. It gave them an open space to communicate how they've been feeling and holding back, but they were able to come back to the table from an equal place and they were able to course correct. Season 5, we see the fruits of that labor. They're on equal ground, they're on equal footing, and they're both showing up for one another. We see the greatest example of this when Molly's mother goes into the hospital. Issa is not only showing up for her, but she's showing up for the whole family. Later, when Molly's mother passes away, she leans on Issa. When Molly gets married, she leans on Issa. In season 5, we see this beautiful course correction, and not just one-sided, but we also saw Molly giving credence to Issa, pumping Issa up, showing up for her, not criticizing her, and not making assumptions that Issa doesn't know what she's doing. They were able to show up together and embark on their journey together. I just wanted to cut in here, and before we leave, I had to give us time for a little Andrew appreciation. Let's get back to the video. So those are my thoughts on Issa and Molly. Now that I've given my thoughts on their breakdown, if there's any other facet of this relationship dynamic you would like me to explore or discuss my thoughts on, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, because there is so much to discuss about these two that this video was almost 4 hours long. And I said, okay, we're going to isolate these topics a little bit because this is the big story of the show. There's so much. We could have taken this season by season, topic by topic, issue by issue, funny moment by funny moment. There was a lot to explore with Issa and Molly, and this is my favorite relationship in the show anyway, but it's also the main focal point of the show. Not only that, but I want to end it here. This is just my personal opinion. While I do think they both contributed heavily to their breakdown in season 4, and I am happy that they were able to course correct and come back to one accord, escalating something to the point of hostility and volatility is a no for me, dog. I'm not judging anyone else, but at some point, we can argue about pretty much anything. But if you cross a certain line, there is not a way back for me. Some things do burn bridges with me. Acting as if you're going to hit me burns a bridge. I will never be able to see you in another way. Now, it's one thing if I'm posing a threat to you or something, obviously, but I wouldn't do that. And if we're best friends, violence should not even be on the table. Words are violent enough, and even some of those words shouldn't be on the table. The way they were flinging bitches back and forth, see, that bridge was burned for a while now with me. I don't call my friends bitches in hostility. We might, bitch, I know that's right, bitch. We might do that sparingly, but when we're mad, no, the rules change when the vibe changes. But acting as if you're gonna fight me, that's a no for me, dog. I would have had to bid Molly adieu. Showing out at my event, I would have had to bid Molly adieu. She crossed several lines, even though I feel like she had a point. Everyone should have respected her perspective, whether they agreed or not. They should have respected her boundaries. She should have communicated them. We've already been through all this. But acting like you're gonna fight me and ruining an event, especially a career-making event, some things, they might be forgivable, but I always will keep them in the back of my mind that you're willing to go as low as you can go when you are upset. And I just feel like there should be a line. If you're that mad, go home, call me tomorrow. So I'm glad they were able to work it out, but if that had been in real life, hell no, you ain't working it out with me. Apology or not, you're not working it out with me. But that's just me. So those are my thoughts on Issa and Molly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.